non-defensemen just because they're always the best values because they have such high
The
floors.
Wins, that's for sure.
Yeah, this iteration's way better. Fucking love it. Fook.
Okay.
Brock Besser, Mike Hoffman, Mark Letestu. The fuck?
What line do they have him on?
3-1. Letestu or Hoffman?
Power play.
Yeah, no.
He's only 3-4.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, those are just the highest value. Best plays, best offensive plays: Stamkos, Kucherov, Malkin, Crosby, Ovechkin, Voracek, Sagan, Hoffman.
Wieners and Dix and Wieners.
Did you see Kempe centered Pearson into Foley?
Yes, I saw that. Played 15 minutes too. So.
Power play too. Just letting you know of the Kemp train.
The old Kemp train, I see.
4K center. How many? He had a goal. I mean, I was wondering how many shots he had. 2 and a goal and an assist. So.
Yeah, no, Kempe was one of the shooter guys though. Like when he got called up last year, he was like
Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly. But
you shot the puck.
Yes.
And you're sure?
I can confirm that he did shoot the puck sometimes.
Matt, you know how the pickle scores they go from 0.2 up to a little over 1 normally. That's the range. Oh wait, hold on. And never mind. Excel was just being stupid. I thought that the highest pickle rated guy in the San Jose Boston game was 0.6, but they were just not sorted.
Yo, Matt Tennyson, power play 1. Go Phil Housen.
Yeah, why not, right? What the fuck? It was Antipin last game, so who cares?
I never even heard of that guy before, Antipin. When he said it, I was I thought he pronouncing somebody's name wrong, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Full Antipins?
He got signed from Russia.
Nice. Who is I saw someone tweeted about him, and I was like, his name sounded so familiar.
Brandon Montour.
No, he's in the KHL now. He scored a goal.
Shipashov?
No.
Oh, the one. Oh, yeah. No, they tweeted today, right? No.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, you mean in the NHL?
No, it was in the KHL.
He's currently in the KHL. I saw.
Yeah, he was in the NHL, but I was trying to think of why he was significant, why I remembered his name so vividly.
Pavel Datsyuk?
Yes, that's who it was.
That's
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, I can't pod. I got to go back and look through all my tweets and find it.
Oh, Kucherov. I mean, not Kucherov. I mean, Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk.
Fuck you.
Was it Alexei Kovalev?
No.
Andrei Markov?
He had a cooler name than that. I feel like if you just get he was more obscure. He's not some superstar, I don't think.
Maxim Afinogenov?
No, he was a superstar. He's super bad.
Super good.
I just accidentally voted in a bunch of votes because I was scrolling too fast.
Wow. That's impressive. I think it was the KHL ENG, the English KHL Twitter feed that I saw one today on.
All right, let me look at it.
All right. I have all of the hockey vids up for almost every single game, minus the last.
Wojtek Wolski.
Okay, yeah. He was on the Capitals.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like it literally was one of those the Russian sleeper cell things where they say it and you're just like, the fuck? Why the fuck do I remember him so vividly?
I think you nailed it. Russian sleeper cell. That's why.
Oh yeah, I guess that's oddly appropriate in this situation.
Wojtek Wolski. Yeah, wow.
Wojtek. That's such a crazy name.
Wojnowski.
Adrian Wojnarowski, the
Yeah.
former St. Bonaventure Bonnie student.
Oh yeah.
Yo, does Bonaventure have the rowdiest crowd in the A10?
It's the
Yo,
Pope
go in this
Catholic.
hole, bro.
Oh, that was on that thing. I forgot.
Yeah.
I was wondering why I remembered that.
It is not only the rowdiest, it's the horniest.
The
Two
only
titles.
one features at the game. The girls just fawn in the
Come do
basketball
it.
players.
Grow up and come to a game this year. Maybe you'll understand.
Dude, I've been to fucking MSG to watch a college basketball.
Oh, I've been
I
to
can
MSG.
guarantee you it is shit. It is still shit.
I never went to an Ohio State basketball game in 4 years,
I am not gonna
and
go
I have
back
no regrets.
to Rockport
Oh.
High School gym.
Yeah, it's probably like really fucking hot in there. There's probably not even concessions. They should.
Okay. False. There are concessions, but for beer, you have to run to the Sculler at halftime to get fucked up on $2 beers and then run back.
The shoe only started selling beer last year.
Yeah, we don't sell beer in the stadium.
We sell beer at the basketball stadium, but not at the football stadium until last year.
Yeah,
Which
but
especially because we are terrible.
yeah, you're no St. Bonaventure. We all know. I'll see you in the tournament.
Nope. Yo, we got no Thad, new fucking OSU this year. We're gonna be crazy.
Wait, what? Something
I don't
about
even know
losing.
what that.
Thad
Something
Matta.
about losing to Penn State.
No,
Yeah,
Thad
what
Matta
about
got
that?
fired.
Wait, what?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
did he?
Yeah. We have the Butler
coach?
head coach as our coach now.
Wait,
Never heard of her.
really?
I think it's
No,
Butler.
yeah,
Maybe,
McDermott, right?
He's no Mark
maybe
Schmidt.
not.
He's just no Mark Schmidt.
He's one of those like oddly relevant only in college basketball team coaches.
Xavier.
Mark Schmidt is the only basketball coach that matters in college basketball.
Let's see. Holtzman? Yeah, Chris Holtman. He was Butler.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Then I guess McDermott.
Wait, is that what I said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
he
said
said
Butler.
since 2015 he was the head coach of Butler, so not very long.
he's no Bonnie. He's no Mark Schmidt. He'll
Hold
never
on.
be as
I
good
know
as
how to
Mark
do
Schmidt.
this. Hit open WD.
What are you even talking about?
Nope. How do I get my working directory, Doug? No,
Get WD,
in quotes.
get WD, and then
okay.
two parentheses,
Yeah.
open, close parentheses.
Yep.
I can send it to you. Well, I know try, but I already ran it. It's looking crispy today. Big slate. Anaheim has the lowest percent chance to win, they said. Well, I just took goals and turned it into percent chance to win.
Guess how
But
much?
they have the highest 5-game versus season long trend change. Like they're up 22% on their 5-game compared to their season long.
Yeah, I think that's mostly because Florida was so good at the beginning of the year. But all right, let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, good point about titties.
We fucked around for way too long.
All
We're
I could-
starting at around 9:57, so that's good.
I'm done before my 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Silent. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Skate Podcast. I'm Matt Moody, joined by Doug Levy and DJ Mitchell to discuss the Thursday already. What a week! NHL DFS slate. Doug, how are you on this fine Wednesday evening?
I am well. I officially submitted my first paper for review and then hopefully publication in the Journal of Animal Science on Friday. So I am taking the first step as a PhD student, so I'm pretty jacked and also have a little bit more time on my hands until next Friday when my first draft of my next paper is due. So that's where I'm at right now. DJ, how are you?
I mean, Tuesday I had one of the hardest tests I've ever had in college, where people literally got out and said they got a 0. I felt a little bit better, but it was really quite the L, if you know what I mean. It's like when you make a lineup and you put a lot of time and effort into it, and just no one gets a point somehow. And they like you have all the shots on goal, but just no one get the puck in the net. Kind of felt like that. It was bad. I mean,
like
go on.
On Tuesday night, if you played a lineup without John Tavares in your center position,
Yeah.
but you played McDavid, who scored and had 8 shots plus blocks, and Raquel, who scored and had like 5 shots and just got murdered anyways because Tavares was.
Wait, I'm confused. Why were you not playing Tavares?
Yeah, I'm confused as well. I mean, I had some Johnny T action.
I mean,
Johnny T saved me.
Have been beyond horrible, and they can't get their power play to work. So that was kind of my rationale.
Wait, but was John Tavares on the team?
I mean, like I said, I got a combined like 13 DraftKings points from 2 centers, which is pretty.
And how many points did John Tavares have?
14 by himself. 14.
Huh.
14. He had 14.
So you're saying you could have gotten even more points with even less players.
Okay.
So, yeah. So to the slate now.
You take the L. That's kind of.
Hey, I held the L on Monday. I had my probability distribution theory class test, and I grabbed that L before the exam started, and I walked out with it. took it home, wined and dined that L.
Did the professor even ask for it? Were they like, "Can I borrow that?" You're like, "No, this is mine."
I held it all night long. I just laid there, terrified.
But you know what? We move on as I will to my next exam in business law, and we're gonna move on tonight to Thursday's mega slate. We have 11 games. Should I read them off, Matt, or do you want to?
No, you can go right on ahead.
We have San Jose coming out to Boston. We have Carolina at Toronto, Arizona at the Rangers, Winnipeg at Pittsburgh, Los Angeles at Montreal, Philadelphia at Ottawa, Detroit at Tampa Bay, Anaheim at Florida, the New York Islanders at the Minnesota Wild, Johnny Tavares, Dallas Stars at Edmonton, Washington at Vancouver. We have no back-to-back games mixed in there, so everyone's going to be fresh legs, a lot of high-paced games, etc. So we kick it right into San Jose, Boston. Is there anything anyone wants to say about the overall overall slate dynamics?
Oh, I do. When you introduced the games, you had the perfect opportunity to say that San Jose was shipping up to Boston, but you said they're coming into Boston or something like that instead. I
did say coming into Boston. All right. Well, thank you for your DFS and irrelevant news. Matt, anything from you?
I saw Brandon Montour live on Tuesday night, and it was spectacular.
Did you need a new pair of pants?
So I wore 2 pairs of pants, and nothing could stop it.
Okay.
Wow. Smart man.
Smart man. He came prepared, but not that prepared. Okay. Do we want to discuss any of the games that we like for maybe possible onslaughts, or is that kind of too bold to get into?
I mean, I'm pretty much in on Anaheim again, so yeah, I might be onslaught.
Yeah. Onslaught the old Anaheim. Doug, anything from you?
I like Florida on the other side. I think that's going to be a high scoring game.
Okay, so the game in general. Yeah, I like the Carolina Toronto game. I think that's going to be super high scoring. Both goalies have been pretty bad this year. So I don't mind onslaughting that entire game, but leaning towards some Toronto action.
Hashtag goalie takes.
Fuego. Okay, so 2 shipping up to Boston. I got you back. San Jose at Boston. Is there anything right off the get-go here that we should discuss?
Well, I mean, I think we should discuss Logan Couture because he has been like a hot player out of the gate here. I mean, his price certainly reflects it, but Jesus, really, really tough to argue with what he's been doing. He has 6 goals in his last 4 games, 7 on the season now in 8 games. So Like, he's always an option given how talented he is, but nothing here from this game that I really love. No.
Yeah, no, I'm not big on anything. Was that Bergeron's first game back? His last one?
I believe it was his third.
Fourth,
Oh.
actually. Wow. No, second. It's second. It showed up on DraftKings as 4, and then that's 2. Like, DraftKings has 4 games for him, and I'm like, wait, what? And I go, oh, because he was on 4 slates but didn't play the first 2.
I would just point out I use 50% this season data, and since he hasn't been playing for as long, people that are hopefully the sim will be up tomorrow. If people are looking at it, just make sure that you remember that he's not the greatest play of all time as the sim thinks, just because it's only weighting his 2 games as much as everyone else's full season so far.
Yeah. I get. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say some notes from this game in general. It's just that Krejci will not play. We do have Backes back as he was last game. The first line from Boston is really all I could say it would be targetable from that side. And then from the San Jose side, yeah, I think you're just looking at Couture, who played with Hurdle last game, but they don't get power play exposure. And then some people might be on Tim Heed. I really do like him as a DFS defenseman, but he only got 13 minutes last game. That did
Here's my guaranteed goal. I thought you were going to ask me for guaranteed goals last game, so I picked him as my low price guaranteed goal, and then you never texted me, so I never got to look awesome.
Yeah, no, I totally forgot because I think we were drinking. Yeah, we would have been drinking. So I forgot about that. Matt, any other things though? Just kind of wanted to get the general notes out there. Any like cheap players that you're interested in, maybe?
I mean, I haven't seen like the actual lines. I'm sure they're switching stuff up because the loss they took all the way back on Saturday to the Sabres, where they blew a massive third period lead. So, but for right now, Agostino is playing on the first power play unit. He still is mid 3K range. He played 15 minutes last game and 16 in the game before that. So he's a solid option. He led the AHL in scoring last year. So he's clearly trying to kind of stick up here in the NHL with some offensive upside in his past. And then Bjork, if he stays on that first line with Marchand and Bergeron, is a secondary option, but his price is up there a bit. So nothing too strong, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely not a game I'm considering GPP stacks, really, but you never do know, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think the thing here is also, like, Burns is 7,000. He hasn't really been all over the ice like you would expect based on his last year's profile. But if you think that Boston's going to dominate shots, and, you know, Burns is one of the best guys for block shots in the NHL, so he could certainly pay off his floor. And obviously his power play upside and offensive talent is immense. So I don't think he's a cash lock at 7,000, but I think he's a very good play if you choose to go in that direction.
All right. So just move on to the next game. A bit more up tempo, Carolina, Toronto. Or Doug, did you have one more thing? Or
nope, I'm good. Keep it going.
All right. Carolina at Toronto. I feel like this is going to be a game that a lot of people target. Do you guys think ownership will be up in this game?
I don't really think so, because like both teams have multiple ways to go in terms of like who to choose, basically. So it's not, you know, it's not like a one-line team with a high pace. Like, they're two pretty deep teams that really spread out their ice time. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see guys that you like go underowned here, just because people are going other spots in this game.
Okay. Yeah, no, I am down for that. I did see, this is a non-DFS related note, but I thought it was pretty funny that Matt Martin and Mitchell Marner wanted to do a Dr. Evil and Mini-Me costume, and their girlfriends shot down the idea. I did see that tweet today. So I thought that was really funny. And they're on the same fourth. I guess. And they're both on the fourth line. Wait, what?
I mean, she just doesn't even look like old enough to. I mean,
you shouldn't be dating yet.
Yeah, I mean,
save himself.
12-year-olds, like, you know, just save yourself, man.
I mean, all I got to say about it is, you know what? That's an hilarious costume idea, and I'm really sorry I didn't get to see it later on. But I just wanted to let everyone know that that is a thing that could happen. But all right, let's move into the GPP guy. I mean the slate guys that we're interested in. Is there anyone that jumps off the page from the sim, Doug?
Favorite play from the sim is Austin Matthews. I think the cheaper, more interesting play for me is playing Justin Falk. He's only 4,800. He has they've got over 40% floor on meeting his expectation, which I think is pretty great. Yeah, the sim really doesn't think that ownership is going to be super high in this game either. So it's sort of thinking the same way as Matt is. So yeah, I like Falk a lot. I think that there's going to be a lot of scoring. People will be on the game. I think Falk is a good enough offensive defense. I think we talked about him a little bit last time. I don't want to reiterate the same thing, but yeah, I like Falk. Matthews is decent. He's going to be the highest owned, I think, in this game. But as Matt said, you never know where the scoring is going to come from. So
Yeah.
Falk, nothing else really interests me that much.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I noted is that Hannafin got a huge jump in minutes last game. He got to end up getting 21 last game comparatively to 13 the game before. So at 3.6, if he's getting 21 minutes and they kind of split the power plays as like a 1A, 1B, I think he's definitely an option. You could stack him with Skinner and another line mate that's, probably just Skinner. I think
Derek
that's
Ryan. Yeah.
you could do Ryan as well as a cheaper option, but I think that line could be a savvy GPP option because I don't think they're going to get the Kadri treatment that Lindholm, Aho, and Stahl should get as the line one. So I think they could end up being sneaky, the Skinner, Ryan, Williams line with Hannafin. Yes, that all came together, right? Kadri's been kind of like, I would say it's a sneaky, really good defensive center that shuts down top lines. Not always, but it has happened, Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for Kadri, like his minutes are not. I mean, no one on Toronto's minutes are really where I would like them to be. But Matthews is getting more and more ice time, like as the season's worn on. So, I mean, even though he's like totally in a different sphere relative to the rest of the plays in this game, just given his price, Kadri's kind of taken the direct hit in terms of minutes that Matthews is eating up. So I just don't think I can pay this much for someone like Kadri. I'm more interested in the Carolina side, but to be honest, I don't know like whether I want to go with Skinner or whether I want to take Falk. Like maybe just play both and hope they hook up at 5-on-5, but their power plays, they're not correlated there. So
I'm pretty convinced you zoned me out completely, Matt, because that wasn't what I was saying at all. But okay.
I mean, I was just trying to kind of transition, but okay.
Oh, okay. I wasn't saying to play Kadri though. I was saying like.
I know, I understand. I was just talking about distribution and.
Sure. I don't know.
I'm not worried about Kadri defensively ever. Like I'm worried about Matthews because Matthews is like legit awesome.
Possession wise,
he's really good defensively. Yeah.
But, all right, I see where you're getting with this. I don't know.
I don't think that the concentration of usage here is going to warrant the attention this game gets. Like just because there's so many different ways this game could go. And if I were to stack in GPPs, I really like what you were saying about Hannafin, Skinner, Williams, like that. That unit, I think, is a really sharp play. But I'm good to move on because I don't think there's any cash locks here.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Then we have Arizona at the New York Rangers. I feel like the Rangers could definitely be popular in this one. Arizona, they're still winless, correct? Yes.
Yep, they have 1.9 games.
So I'm looking at the last game, and the Rangers did do a 7 defenseman, 11 forward unit, game. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. So kind of bumping the forward minutes, but they really did distribute it very evenly. So is there anyone from the Rangers side with only potentially going with 11 forwards? Obviously, we got to wait and see. That interests you.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that they just got blown out again because I really liked what they were doing with their lines. But like last game with the blowout, it seems like they're going to go into a massive blunder again. And I'm not really sure how they're going to wind up for tomorrow. But if you're looking at the power play for them, someone like like Buchnevich, given that he plays like on a top 6 role. I think he's a really interesting play in this game just because he's still he's 4.2 and he's been productive on the power play, so I think now is kind of the chance to see what he can do at 5-on-5. So, like I'm just looking at last game, he played 15 minutes versus 10 for, the other games in the last few. So I think that's the main guy I focus on, if not Rick Nash, because I think he's kind of going to get tossed to the curb again.
Yeah, no, I'm noticing that Jimmy Vesey played 19 minutes without a single power play minute, which is just kind of crazy because like everyone else minutes were driven by power play, and he's only 3.3 on DraftKings. So, I mean, Jimmy Vesey could be an option if he stays with Hayes and I just don't. Why did that line get so much time? Vesey, Hayes, and Fast. I don't know.
I mean,
that could just be
they got blown out. And
yeah, that might just be
he's just spinning the wheels at this point. Yeah, like they're just kind of. I mean, honestly, they're kind of in the exact same spot that the Islanders were against Arizona. Like, spinning their wheels, can't get anything going. So I guess a guy like Zuccarello could really be your direct comparison, like someone who's going to own like most of the offensive usage and could have a huge game here. So I guess Zuccarello is worth a mention too.
Okay, so Doug, anyone from the Rangers that you wanted to mention, or did you want to go over anyone in Arizona?
Yeah, I wanted to just echo what Matt said about similarly likes the Zuccarello with Zibanejad, that line, but also with the power play line as well. Just the fact that they're going to overlap there. I don't hate the Buchnevich either, but I think the one like really cheap, really high floor guy that I like in this game is Jason Demers. He's 3.2, playing with Ekman Larson. He played like 24 minutes last game. I mean, that's a ton of minutes for a guy that cheap who's playing with Ekman Larson. I think that even though Arizona's been struggling, he's pretty much a lock to either meet value or exceed it. So I think I'm going to be locking him in as a D in terms of just high floor. The sim has a 42.5% chance that he breaks his floor, which is some of the highest on the slate. So just because his salary is so low, I should say. But yeah, I really like Demers. Clayton Keller, we were talking about him before the show, but yeah, Clayton Keller's just been on fire recently, and I think that still at 5,000, he is definitely in play.
Yeah, those two, totally agree. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, no, Keller's awesome. I think that he's probably the best cash play from this game, despite everyone wanting to pile on the Rangers. Yeah, like Keller is like he is really freaking good. He's shooting the puck a ton. So yeah, I think that's a really strong move. I did look up the power play and lines from practice today. I know they were different than this yesterday in practice, or maybe Monday, whenever it was. So, but as of morning, so check morning skate, they're rolling lines of Nash, Zibanejad, and JT Miller. And then Kreider, Hayes, and Zuccarello. 51. Who is 51? Is that Scheidel? No.
Wait.
No, he's gone.
No, 51 is Desjardins?
Oh, yeah, Desjardins.
Oh, my God. Why do I always do that? Oh, my God. There's not even like any of those. Is that an old player?
Yeah, David Desjardins.
Yeah, I always – wait a minute. He's – No. There's a player, Andrew Desjardins.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
he's not playing for the Rangers. Yeah. Okay. I did that another time too. Like, is he becoming the new Parento? Is this
probably? Yeah.
Okay. What about Peter Angelo?
You're saying it not how I said it. I said Peter Angelo instead of Pietrangelo. I said like Peter Angelo before the podcast, and everyone's like, "Oh, unbelievable!" And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's like a one-syllable mistake because I'm just reading it quickly." Peter Griffin Angelo. Okay, sorry, go on.
Okay, and then the power play from today. And this is why I'm just like pretty much out on the Rangers. Their power play from today was Shattenkirk, JT Miller, Zibanejad, Nash, Buchnevich, and then McDonough, Zuccarello, Kreider, Desharnais, and Hayes, like that's a mess. Like they're gonna split time right down the middle. I'm not really sure how you pick between either one of those units, between any of these lines. So I would say tread lightly on this team. Take a shot in GPPs, and you can play a guy in cash games. But if you stack this team in cash, I feel like it could really burn you because obviously what happened in the Islanders game the other night was a top 1% outcome. So that's all. Let's go on to the next game here with Winnipeg and Pittsburgh. So last game between Edmonton and Pittsburgh. I didn't get to watch it because, like I said, I was at the Ducks game, but it seemed kind of low paced. Good goaltending on both sides, but it wasn't necessarily the fire wagon hockey that I expected. So I don't know, because Winnipeg this year has been very low event just in general. So I'm not really sure how I want to attack this game because we're not really seeing too big of discounts on any of these Jets. So, Doug, anyone popping out on the sim on either the Jets side or the Pittsburgh side?
Yeah, I think you made a good point about the prices of the Jets not really matching their less lucrative play style as of recently. The sim really doesn't like anyone on Winnipeg that much. It definitely favors Pittsburgh. I can sit on those plays for a little bit, but only guy from Winnipeg that the sim is more than moderately interested in would probably be, honestly, not really anyone. Morrissey. He was a guy I tweeted out, I think, today about how well he's been exceeding his ownership expectation. His ownership will be minuscule tomorrow. He's 3-5, playing the first line, getting power play time. I don't have his minutes in front of me, but that's really the only guy from Winnipeg that the sim likes in terms of value or high upside. So
yeah, he's been right around 20 minutes on a nightly basis. So he's definitely a guy to that you can throw in there if you need a cheap defenseman.
Although I will say, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a few guys that are cheap defensemen worth a look, so it's not like he's a must play because of that. But you can go ahead now, Doug.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, looking at these expected goal totals that we just printed out, it really gives the hand to Winnipeg in this game over Pittsburgh in terms of expected goal production. So it's just those goals have got to come from somewhere. So although I think Pittsburgh has more fantasy relevant players on the team in terms of just expected goals on the season and over different 5-10 game stretch, Winnipeg is favored in that. So that's just something interesting to think about considering we're not loving these plays.
Yeah. I think if you go Winnipeg, you're probably going to stack a line of some kind. I don't even know where I'd go exactly, though. I'm not that interested in this game, which is surprising because it sounds so good on paper, but I don't know. Underlying numbers aren't leading me to love this game. And there's not one player jumping off the page to me. Kyle Connor is a good value play, but he's not a cash viable play, I don't think.
Yeah. It looks like, so Kyle Connor is playing with Scheifele and Wheeler. But Nick Batan is on that first power play unit with Wheeler, Scheifele, Laine, Bufflin. So
yeah, all 10 minutes of his ice time though is again not really an
option. That also kind of puts a damper on Connor's expected output. Yeah. Especially, Connor's up at 4,000 now, so he's not 3,400 like he was a couple games ago. I don't hate him, but I think that he's a relatively low floor sort of option, and that you're really banking on a point from him. So if you're gonna play him, you might as well play Wheeler with him or something like that, because the only way Connor's getting value is if he beats someone or if someone scores while he's out there, because he's definitely not a shot producer. So, and then I think Bufflin's worth a mention here, just because he's 5.6 and he's becoming the horse again on defense. I just don't know where his shots went. He has 3 shots over the last 3 games with, he's averaging well over 20 minutes a night. So, but his price is probably as low as it's going to get. So, keep him in mind. So Pittsburgh side, Doug, I know you had some plays queued up for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Sim likes Malkin and Crosby a lot. Big numbers in terms of potential upside floors. It favors Malkin over Crosby. Malkin's been a little more consistent, I guess. I mean, both of them are listed as pretty great plays here. I think you get a little better value from Malkin. He does see less minutes than Crosby, but he is significantly cheaper at 6.8 compared to Crosby at 8.1. I guess there would be some potential to play the two of them. I mean, they play a significant amount of power play time together, but I don't know. To me, I'm looking to that Malkin line just in terms of price and then upside. I think that you will get more from Malkin.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's I probably agree with on the Malkin side there. So Justin Schultz is doubtful on defense. That means that someone like Chris Letang will have the monopoly on the power play one. I know he's been getting most of the work there anyways, but Schultz here and there has been jumping into that first power play unit. That won't be the case. He is doubtful. Not sure if I said he's doubtful or not. So that makes Chris Letang a better play in what should be a relatively high tempo game. But I'm not in love with Letang's price. Like I think I'd rather take it. I think I'd rather just get the Burns at 800, or even a guy like Weber or Bufflin a bit cheaper, or Carlson. So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as a really, 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 really cheap option, Chad Ruido got power play 2. He had 4 shots on goal and 2 blocks last game, getting 20 minutes. So if Schultz is out, I think Ruido's like your absolute minimum salary kind of play type of guy. But I mean, getting power play 2 in 21 minutes at 2,900 is an option.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. So
okay, so we can move on now to LA Montreal.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so I guess the big note from this game that I had was that Adrian Kempe, who had a goal and assist last game, is centering Pearson and Toffoli, and on the second power play unit with Pearson and Toffoli. But I'm not sure if I really love this game from either end as far as like stacking. So,
I mean, the amazing thing was like Montreal actually scored goals on Tuesday.
I'm still not sure if that really happened or not. You might have been dreaming.
Like, what was that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a mad world. It's just great. They won a game. They're trying to get out of the basement of the Atlantic. They want the Sabres back there where they belong.
Oh, they'll be there soon enough.
They're working their way. I know that much. Making their way downtown. What?
Yep.
Go on.
You check to see if we're singing anything today, DJ?
Wait, what?
You were the iTunes reviews. Have you seen if we're singing anything?
Oh, wow! I'll do that. Actually, I didn't even think of that. Wow, great point. We'll do it. We'll do a midway break after the next one.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So, last game they really shook up the lines going into it, and we saw Pacioretty play with Philip Deneau and Andrew Shaw, and then Drouin centering Arturi Lehkonen and Paul Byron as their two, main lines. The power play one still remained the same as Drouin, Lehkonen, Pacioretty, Weber, and then Andrew Shaw with them. So I think here I'm much more apt to go with Pacioretty than Shaw. I was worried that their minutes were going to be down on Tuesday just because they were looking at Drouin as like a legit number one center. But Pacioretty still led the team in ice time. So I'm not really all that worried about someone like Deneau's, overall ice time. And he does play second power play. So along with obviously Shaw's on that first unit. So I think that line stack is a good look here against an LA team that's in the midst of a rather long road trip.
Okay. Doug, anyone from you?
I think the only guy that Sim's interested in on Montreal is Shea Weber. Huge floor, large potential upside as well. He's 5.5K. Not much more. I mean, Shea Weber's the man. That reminds me about. I wrote about him in the post that I have up on the Morning Skate website. You guys should check it out. But yeah, no, I'm more about this LA side. I think that LA is interesting. Montreal's been middle of the pack in terms of expected goals production this season, while they have the highest 5-game expected goals and the highest season expected goals above average. So I think that I really like this side a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah. So honestly, who on LA like really jumps out? Because most of the guys I'm looking at, like they've already seen like pretty dramatic increases in terms of price. And I don't know if I'm ready to trust Pearson or Toffoli yet, given that they're not playing power play 1 and their minutes are still kind of down. So, well, like, what's the Tim saying about their, where to look on LA?
Yeah. In terms of value, let's see who are, value, they like Pearson, Camilleri, but the production is coming more from, hold on, just sorting. They have Anze Kopitar at the top with Drew Doughty as well. So I'm looking at, Kopitar played 23 minutes last game, power play 1 with Camilleri and Doughty. So that's probably where I would go. That was more just looking at their overall production. I hadn't really thought about where I wanted to see it exactly. Those are the guys that Sims likes the most, though.
Yeah, no, I like the defense, but I like Drew Doughty a lot. But then again, it's like he's just right in that price range where it's like, shouldn't I try to get up for Burns or?
And there's also Muzzin there too. He played 24 minutes last game, nothing to scoff at. Played power play 2, power play 2.
Yep.
So Sim likes him as a little bit more of a value play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. They've been really riding 3 defensemen, Forbit being like a close 4 with minutes. Like Martinez, Doughty, and Muzzin are getting all of the minutes.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much it's worth, like predictively, but over the last 10 days in 5 games, Martinez has 40 shot attempts. It's the 4th most in the NHL over the last 10 on a per game basis. And Drew Doughty's up at 6 shot attempts per game. So, those 2 guys have been shooting the puck the most. I just don't think you can pay 6.1 for Drew Doughty when guys like John Carlson and Shea Weber are a full 500 less in cash. So, I do want to mention that Shea Weber leads the NHL in that last 10 days. He has 8.5 shot attempts per game. So, he's shooting. He finally scored last game. He scored twice.
So Shea Weber.
Yeah, I think he's the top play from this game.
All right, I'm fine with that. Cash viable guy there, I'd say as well. Move on to the next game. Also, we did get a review, but it really wasn't written, I don't think, to be sung. Like I think it was just like a generally being nice thing. So, do you want me to just read a little bit of it, or just shout them out and move on?
We told you guys.
No, you
write them as songs.
Oh yeah, I so it's from T Disch, like DISCH Disch. What do you think? That's how you say that?
He's gonna be like, damn it, DJ, it's Dejahe.
Right. So T
Desjardins.
Oh wait. He said, I really like this one. That's why I wanted to read it. Listen to my podcast on Overcast because I hate the Apple Podcast app, which was a rhyme, but I don't think it meant to be. But I open it when I need to leave a review, and this one is necessary. Oh. Love hockey and daily fantasy, but couldn't find a daily-centric fantasy hockey podcast until I found these guys online, and just at the start of the season, and went straight to my app to subscribe. They did not disappoint, and I will be a dedicated listener this season and for seasons to come. Keep it up, guys. So,
God damn.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate
That was
here. At the
risk incredibly thoughtful.
At the risk of taking way too long to do this podcast, which we've already done, I did want to mention, Doug, you mentioned it tangentially, but you did submit a post to the morningscapepod.com website. So check that out. It covers basically the first 2 weeks and how the Sim's been performing. And then, I guess just a couple of points to keep in mind when looking at the Sim, which should be up by Thursday. If not, then probably Friday. I know, Doug, you're hard at work on it, so We appreciate
one of our fellow listeners has been absolutely instrumental in helping me get this thing back up and running. I think it's going to be I thought it was going to be a crappier version of what we already had, and it looks like it's going to be even nicer than what we already had. So yeah, no, I'm absolutely grateful for the help. So shout out to our listener.
So that article is linked on our homepage. If you go there, you can see it on the early season review tab. And let's get right back into the games and speed this thing up so we can finish, within that nice cozy hour mark or 50-minute mark that we've been trying to hit. So Philadelphia at Ottawa. I think we saw Philly really get exposed against Anaheim. It was interesting because the shots looked relatively even, but Anaheim was dominating the puck and Philly was just getting in the way of a ton of shots. So that's really something that I just don't think Philly's all that good. And so when you give me someone like Erik Karlsson at 7.2 or Mike Hoffman at 5.6, I just think they're both really strong plays given how much they're used. In the home matchup, I think those are really the only two guys you can look at from Ottawa, but I think those are also two of the better cash plays here just because they're so consistent on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. Top two plays from Ottawa for the Sim are Hoffman and Karlsson. Also big value plays as well from guys with that highest salary. That's pretty impressive. I think Hoffman presents a little bit higher of a floor just because his salary is a little bit lower. Karlsson, anytime you've got a defenseman at 7.2, their floor is dropped a little bit just because they have such big shoes to fill. But yeah, I love both of them. Both of them getting over 0.9 frequency payoff score. So, and let me know if you want me to call the combination of frequency and payoff pickle, because I think that's hilarious, and calling them pickle scores is funny, but I can make it more serious too for our listeners.
Wow.
Next review, somebody put a 5-star review and tell me whether you want me to call them pickle scores or frequency payoff scores.
Or the Vlasic scores.
Or the Vlasic scores. Ironically, He never does well in this category. So,
well, next time is his time. All right. So one important note is that Kyle Turris is dealing with an illness and might not play. So that could bump Brassard or Peugeot into a prominent role that would see correlation with Karlsson, Hoffman on the power play. I would keep an eye on that for sure. Keep an eye on morning skate lines. I think Hoffman and Karlsson are a really nice stack. I think Hoffman's definitely cash viable. And on the Philadelphia side, Wayne Simmons could possibly miss next game as well. That one's even way more up in the air. So I definitely would keep an eye on it. What?
Yeah, no. Wayne Simmons should he's up in the air. Nolan Patrick left Tuesday's game early.
Was supposed to be back though.
Yep, he's supposed to be back. I'm seeing that. So I don't think it's much of a play, but they should be switching up their lines in a pretty big way. So with Simmons in morning skate, hopefully we'll see what those lines will be. But maybe if Patrick gets a jump up to a nice line. Other than that, really no one on Philly that's really worth spending up for. So anything else, or should we go to Detroit, Tampa?
You didn't even mention the fact that both of my perennial guaranteed goals are in that game.
Yeah, I just hope you would.
We'll just have to mention it later when we talk about guaranteed goals.
Ding. Okay, so next game, Detroit, Tampa Bay. I almost think this one's self-explanatory on what to do.
Stack Detroit.
Yep, finally.
With Detroit's goalie.
Let me tell you a little story about a guy named Cromwell. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, Matt, back to you.
So Kucherov is now fairly priced. He is the most expensive player on the slate. Yes, he is the most expensive player on the slate. I'm officially jumping off. I know this is the dream spot for Kucherov, but I think you have to give up at some point. And I was just basically telling the numbers to screw off because Tampa's really not been producing all that much offensively, but they've just been converting at a legendary rate. But Kucherov is at the point where, if he scores, and doesn't do anything else. Like last game, he put up 5 points by scoring a goal with 5 seconds left in the game and like a 4-1 blowout. So, if even with that, he still only put up 5 points for 8,000. So I don't really think that he's a great play. And there's no one else on Tampa that I'm really gung ho about playing. So
yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, there's no one jumping off the page. I think as far as value, Gord is in like maybe an option. I mean, he has had reliable floor numbers, but I don't know if it's the safest play by any means. Yanni Gord, I don't know.
Yeah,
He's there. He's getting power play time, etc. But I don't know. That's like the one kind of value-ish play that I'd consider. And then
exactly.
is there anyone from the Detroit side that is even mentionable? I mean, they really are kind of rolling out their top units more than anyone else. But is there anyone that could break through this Tampa Bay team and have a great game?
So Anthony Ciu is back. I don't know if he'll play. That's still not really decided. But I mean, even if he does, I'm not interested. But really, no one that I would even like want to look at. Mantha is just too expensive for me to think that he's an option. So
yeah.
Doug,
Doug, anything
any
from
thoughts?
the sim?
The sim likes Stamkos just because his price is lower now. It's sort of going away from Kucherov, just kind of like Matt said. Hedman, it thinks is a decent play as well, just because of how Tampa's been performing. I'm sure it's based on some recency stats too, but from Detroit, not a soul.
Yeah,
there is not a soul worth mentioning on Detroit. Their highest player is like almost half the highest payoff score of the guys on Tampa Bay. So
yeah, I was just gonna say that. Oh, sorry, Matt.
One name that like people are probably going to start talking about is Mikhail Sergachev, given that he is at 4 goals and 7 points in his last 4 games. But Tampa just doesn't seem willing to play him for anything more than like 13 minutes a night. So like while he's like super good and all that, like I just don't really think he's in play given the minutes.
Wait, didn't Cooper say that he was going to start playing him more?
No, Cooper
said that he really liked him, but that like he knew his role and like how he jumped up offensively. But no, he didn't really imply that he was going to start playing him at all more.
No, what I read recently was that because if he plays more than 41 games, they had to send a 2nd-round pick to Montreal, and they were saying like because he could still play in the OHL or whatever league he was in, and they're like, is he going to play a 10th game and lose that eligibility? Is he going to stay with the team? And he said he's staying here for the foreseeable future. Is that what you read?
Yes. I think he said something today too.
Just let me have this, man. Just let me have this. Yeah. All right, no, but really, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I was gonna say about the Hedman thing is that there's so many defensemen at almost the same price that I think are in much better spots. Letang, Doughty are only a few hundred more, and we said like try to maybe even jump up to the next tier. So I don't know. I just don't see it really. Like I think that you got to find someone in that range. It's a bit of a better play. I think you can easily.
Martin
Frick. So let's go to Anaheim, Florida. So Brandon Montour has taken over basically the Cam Fowler role, and he is definitely a better rate shooter than Cam Fowler. I think their block shots are like somewhat the same. Like they might pick up 1 or 2 here or there, but I mean, playing on this first power play is just something that I want every single piece of. So basically, what I'm saying is that if you would play Cam Fowler at a price, you should be playing Brandon Montour at that same price. So at 4.3, he has increased a lot from the beginning of the season, but it is very well warranted, and I don't think now's the time to jump off now that he's taking over as like their number 1 defenseman. I mean, Lindholm's there, but he's their number 1 DFS defenseman, I guess, because he'll be out there in all offensive situations. And Florida's PK has been atrocious this year. So all the more reason to jam in Montour.
Yeah, no, totally agree. You got to be jamming in Montour. And who would you stack with him? Just like the guys from the first power play unit. Like Perry gets off Raquel. Is there anyone in particular, or?
I like that Raquel Getzlaf stack. It's going to run you a good amount of money, so I don't think either of them are like great plays in cash, given that they're on the road in Florida. But can definitely see that working in GPPs.
Doug, anything from the sim?
Yeah, in Anaheim, it's all Montour all the time. The sim still thinks his price is too low for what he's been doing, and I don't think that it has him listed at the increased role without Fowler there on the stats that I'm using. So, yeah, I'd say from Anaheim, Montour pretty much is the beginning, middle, and end of what it has to say.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yes.
Is there anything from the Florida side that we're interested in?
I mean, I'm decently interested in this Florida side. I don't think that it's anything crazy, but I think that they have a decent advantage in terms of expected goals on the season over Anaheim. Although Anaheim is the highest uptrending team in the last 5 days. So I wouldn't mind some of this Huberdeau, Barkov, Dadonov stack. They all play together on power play, right? Yeah. I'm interested in that. I think it has upside. I don't think the floor is there, but it's definitely something I'll be thinking about.
Yeah, I just feel like with Anaheim's defense this down, there's definitely an option here. So Matt, I'm sorry, I'll let you talk.
Yep. No, I think that first line is exactly where you want to go. I like Huberdeau a lot, but I think that the wing is a bit more loaded than the center position. And Barkov is 5.8 at center, and he's put up 3 shots in each of the last 4 games. He's obviously a good bet for point production, but if you're getting a guy who will give you 1.5 points just with shots alone, I think that's a really good bet at the center position to save a few thousand with some crazy upside too. So,
yeah, and also
I'm all about Barkov.
Also, just going along with that, Aaron Ekblad has had 2 or 3 shots in each of his last 3 games, playing power play 1 along with them. So if you're looking for a defenseman, he's 4.5. Just sort of to go along with that stack, I would do it. He is one of those guys that the sim loves for meeting his value, but he's not a huge upside guy. So just somebody else to think about. Ekblad is he's a consistent workhorse.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I just feel like looking at Anaheim's defense, Lindholm is awesome. Montour played really good, but the other 4, I mean, BX besides that punch he threw, it's just really shouldn't be out there. Megna's not very good. I'm okay with Manson.
That guy, Radko Gudas.
Yeah,
he gave him.
Oh my god, you thought he murdered his face. But no, I'm just saying, I feel like Anaheim, we normally think of this really, really, really sound defensive team, but without Fowler and Vatanen, it's just not the same look. So I think that Florida could have some potential. I mean, they're coming off a pretty bad. If anyone played him against Carey Price and Montreal, they would have been thoroughly disappointed. But Barkov's in I think, a really, really nice spot as well. That was kind of the guy I was hoping Matt would mention. So I'm all about that Barkov. Our next game now, or?
Yeah. Yep. Well,
yep.
We got to get this going.
Move along. We're almost there.
All right. So we've got John Tavares against the Minnesota Wild. Yeah. No Josh Ho-Sang.
He was sent down. True.
Yes, he was sent down. Matt, first thoughts on, we'll start with the Islanders. Is there anyone other than Tavares you would ever consider playing?
No.
All right, DJ.
Also no.
Yes.
I mean, unless if you want to stack him with Eberle or stack him with, I don't know. Yeah. I mean.
The answer is no.
Okay.
All right. How do we feel about Minnesota?
I mean, really good.
There's some really good cheap options, I think.
But they got shut out by Vancouver at home last game. So.
But it's time to bounce back.
That's what you call a perfect bounce back spot. So
I mean, home against the Islanders, I think they'll bounce back a bit. And there's a couple of guys.
Yeah,
Matt, I'm sorry. I mean, Eriksson Ek, though. Any thoughts on the old Eriksson Ek 3.2 train?
No power play time, no thanks. That's kind of where my head's at on that one. But this entire first line of Granlund, Koivu, and Zucker stayed together on the first power play with Suter and Spurgeon as well last game. Remains to be seen what happens to Jason Zucker. He took an absolute boneheaded penalty to negate a power play late in Tuesday's game, and Boudreaux was not happy with him. But he's been a good soldier for most of the past few seasons. So I mean, I don't think he'll be like benched or anything. But if that line sticks together, Zucker's a strong shot producer at a really nice price in an elevated role against the Islanders team, who, I mean, I don't think is all that good. I don't think anyone thinks that they're unbeatable. So I think this is a nice spot for Minnesota. Like you said, DJ, to bounce back.
Yeah.
Did
Sorry. Go on, Doug.
I don't think DJ would remember this, but Matt, do you remember last year when I was using the play-by-play data and I did a summary of the last 2 seasons of which players, when they're on the ice, give their teammates the best chance to score fantasy points? And Jason Zucker was the number 1 player of all players on that I tested.
I know.
Go ahead.
Like 2 seasons ago, he was like 3rd in the NHL in primary 5-on-5 points per 60. Like, this is not a new thing. Like, Jason Zucker is like actually good at hockey.
Him being on the ice literally is like a fantasy. Like, him with Tavares would just be like nutty. if Tavares just switched jerseys, if somehow Tavares could get traded to a decent hockey team.
What about him with McDavid? Yo. Sorry. I'll just give Matt a minute to think about that. Anyways, though, another piece of news was that Nino Niederreiter skated today, but is not likely at all to play.
He won't be back for a while.
Let people in the loop here that like Niederreiter, keep an eye out, but not tomorrow. Other than that, there's really, unless if you're really into some cheap options that might not produce like power play time, but Eriksson, Ek, and Kunin both got like 16 minutes together, but they did not get power play time. So it's like kind of risky. What is Kunin priced at? Why can I not find him?
I don't really.
3.2. They're both 3.2. So if you're looking for the ultimate cheap stack of guys that are going to play together for 15 minutes, 5-on-5, those would be your guys.
In terms of value plays, Luke Kunin is the lowest ranked player in this entire game.
Well, he's only played like 1 game. 4 games.
Yeah,
Wait.
No,
he's only played 3 games. 2 games. 3 games. 4 games.
7 games.
4.
25.
He's played in 4 games. He's only been on 2 slates. That was the confusion there.
Shorted out.
2, 3,
4, 5.
No, I don't know what happened, but he was only on 2 slates and in 4 games. So whatever that's supposed to mean, man. But I'm just saying, like, if you have this crazy lineup and you have all these upper price guys, and you're like, man, I have 3.2 for 2 guys. I'm just saying, Eriksson Ek and Kunin are available.
I'm just gonna cut you off there. Don't do it.
PPP only.
Let's move
nothing
on.
Only.
I only give people the cheap takes. All right.
Dallas at Edmonton. Edmonton back at home. Dallas just got their doors blown off by Colorado. Ben Bishop calling out the coach for benching him.
Yeah, I saw that. Savage.
Narrative streak could really go in any direction here. Like, Ben Bishop could stand on his absolute head and basically negate the flying McDavid. David just basically drives a wedge into this team, into their Stars' psyche. But it's worth pointing out Dallas has started out the season really good in terms of their expected goals against, and they've been sound defensively. So it's one thing to keep in mind about Dallas is that late in last night's game, they played Ritchie alongside of Tyler Sagan and Jamie Benn. So that's an obvious value spot to look to. And then on the Edmonton side, Yamamoto's off that first line. He only played 10 minutes last game, so I think his value's pretty much dried up. I mean, especially at this price tag, you just can't play him because there's way too much risk. But I'll be interested to see where they actually do morning skate, like what the lines look like, because it looks like it'll be either Letestu with McDavid and Maroon or Draisaitl back with McDavid and Maroon.
Yeah, they should
So,
they should put Haller Eberle there. Oh wait.
Yeah, no comment. Or John Tavares.
Oh God. Or Jason Zucker. Okay, no, but yeah, back to reality here. I don't know. I feel like this game has a lot of promise, but I can't land on one line. Like I feel like I love McDavid in this matchup, but I don't know if I'd stack him with Letestu and be able to sleep at night. I guess him and Maroon would be an option, or him and Clefbaum, but what?
Well, Letestu is an infinitely better option than Luke Kunin.
Yeah,
all right.
But what if you only had 3.2?
Then you play. I don't even hate Letestu. I really don't hate him as a play.
Julius Honka.
Will Honka play though?
Okay, so if you had to pick one in this game, are you going with McDavid or Tyler Sagan?
I'm gonna go McDavid. I feel like he's just always. I feel like GPP wise, you almost gotta go McDavid. In cash,
well, we're talking cash, DJ.
You're talking cash, Monet. Nah, I'm going McDavid. I'm going my boy.
Okay.
Sim has Sagan, better point per dollar value, higher ceiling, higher floor, and better leverage because McDavid they're projecting is 4% higher owned than Sagan.
Yeah, and that's what a strong shot rate will do on the season. Sagan has more points per game than Connor McDavid in terms of fantasy points. So
True.
I mean, McDavid has been shooting the puck more. I'll give him that. Like, if you look at last year's stats, they aren't exactly the same. But I do think I tend to agree with the Sim, especially given the lower ownership, that like Sagan is a very good play. And yeah, I just thought that was an interesting one because those might be the two top centers, at this high end, just because of, just because they're facing Austin, what should be a relatively defenseless game. Any other plays worth mentioning? Covered Ritchie, we got Sagan, McDavid, check the lines.
Yeah.
So
no big. I would say check the lines because there's really no like big news, but I don't think we know because if you went on HockeyViz and looked at their last game for Edmonton, like there's a lot of random correlation lines where I don't know where. I would not be surprised if Draisaitl ends up being with McDavid tomorrow by any means. So definitely keep an eye on it because that could bring Draisaitl into play. So okay, you can move on.
All right. So last game we have Washington coming on into Vancouver for the late night game. Vancouver's been like surprisingly awesome in their last few games. They took a pretty, not a nasty road trip, but they went into Ottawa, Boston, Buffalo, Detroit, and Minnesota. They came out 4-1, including, as we just talked about, the impressive shutout of Minnesota on Tuesday night. So does this hamper your expectation for the Capitals at all, or is this still a really good spot for guys like Ovechkin, John Carlson, and all those studs on Washington?
I gotta let Doug take this first as far as what the Sim's saying.
Yeah, the Sim still likes Washington more, and the top 5 guys projected from the Sim are all on Washington. I think Brock Besser is the best play on Vancouver by far in terms of value and floor. He's only 4K. But I'm not completely turned off of Washington guys just because of Vancouver's recent success. If you're looking at expected goal numbers, Vancouver they've been middle of the pack at best in terms of goals against. So yeah, I'm not I'm not super concerned. I don't think I'll be having a ton of this game. I have this game being a little bit lower scoring, but I think there's definitely plays, and I think Ovechkin is fine.
Mhm.
Okay, so, well, DJ, who do you want to?
Well, who do I want? I mean, I would take Washington over Vancouver if that's what you're at. I mean,
like people.
plays? No, I think.
People, DJ, people.
I mean, if you can stack Kuznetsov Ovechkin any night, it's always going to be like one of the best stacks on any slate ever. Always has huge potential to go off, but I feel like this is just kind of like the same old story, like Washington guys. It's the same lines. I don't.
Wait, didn't was it Burakovsky broke his hand?
No, Keith played last game. Well, they didn't play in a while.
Just last game.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I definitely saw the.
Yep.
Let me look.
Tom Wilson's been on that top line with Backstrom and Oshie anyway, so Tom Wilson should be up there. He's not worth the
But
look.
where is?
But yes, Burakovsky broke his thumb. Is out for like 2 months. So.
Oh wow! Oh no, I remember now. It was Chason was on line 2 with Ovechkin and Kuznetsov. That was what I
yeah,
saw.
Vrana got it.
My goodness. Yeah, Vrana was. Oh my! I was like literally trying to think of something, and nothing was coming to my head about why this game was interesting. Alex Chason is, I guess, if that does come to fruition, an option.
Oh, no,
I don't think.
terrible.
Well, he's terrible. He won't be on the power play, but if he's with Ovechkin at 3.8, I don't know.
He's still terrible.
All right, fine.
I'm not interested.
Never mind.
But I mean, you're not wrong. But he's also terrible, and I won't be playing him. But I'm really disappointed in you guys. I think the mortal lock on this entire slate is John Carlson at 5.5. With Niskanen out, he's been playing insane minutes. He's at last 3 games, 27, 27, 29 against Florida. In those, last 2 games now, he's at 13 shots plus blocks against Detroit, and then 9 shots plus blocks against Florida. Playing power play 1 with obviously the explosive power play unit of Washington, and even though Washington's expected goals numbers have been pretty much down, they haven't been great, but he blocks a ton of shots. He takes a ton of long distance shots, so he doesn't need to really create offense in order to create DFS value. And you got to think if he takes 17 shots, one of them's going to go in at some point, and he still didn't have a goal to show for it. So his price is just way too low, given the role, given the matchup, and given who he gets you exposure to. I think John Carlson at 5.5 is the play of the slate.
I honestly totally forgot to look at defensemen when we were talking because we were talking like forwards. Like that's all Doug was mentioning. So I was like only talked about forwards. I didn't even look at defensemen.
Sim's second favorite value play on this game is Carlson.
Yeah, so. I don't know why I thought we were just like talking about forwards or something, and then all of a sudden you're like mad at us. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, those guys. I didn't even go to them on the slate.
No, I completely forgot.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else, or let's just guarantee some goals and get out of here.
Make one quick lineup. Can we just do like a super fast one? We'll just throw in. But people say that's your favorite part of the slate. I mean, the pod. Can we just do like Carlson?
Come on, Dad.
Come on, please.
Right. Let me take the car out. I'll be back by 9.
All right, Carlson, Montour. Good. Okay, we'll roll with those on defense. Center, Matt. I'll throw it to you. Barkov.
Sure, let's do it.
Well, Matt, you're really not being very enthusiastic about this. Doug, anything from you in the peanut gallery? Well, Hoffman action maybe. Any sim predictions?
How about Shea Weber as our utility defenseman?
Ooh, I like the sound of it. I'm just gonna throw in a goaltender, and I'm gonna make it Dubnyk. Maybe a little Dubnyk. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? We can go with that Ben Bishop narrative street. All right, let's go Dubnyk. Cool. Dubnyk's fun. Right, where is he? Where'd he go? Disappeared. All right, 5, 3, 2, 5 for 4 spots.
Lock in Luke Kunin.
Oh man! If he scores tomorrow, I am definitely going to punch him in the face. Okay. Zucker? How about Zucker?
Keller.
Sure.
Zucker.
Oh yeah.
Keller.
Man,
Bears.
Okay.
Okay, and then center.
Just very much in the mid tier.
Watch this lineup just absolutely smash. We're just like, oh yeah, throw him in. That's fine. Kunin, yeah, who cares?
They'll think we're gods. How much do we have left?
5-6-5 for a center and a wing. It's like per position. 5-6-5.
What about Barkov at center?
I already put in Barkov.
We already got it.
Is there any center that's just? I mean, I want to like. Hold on. We could just do the old fashioned. Like if you threw in McDavid, you'd have 3-4. 3-4 could get you Letestu. You could get that action. If you wanted to go more mid range, you could go with a guy like Couture. Couture gets you 4-6. 4-6 gets you. I don't know.
Brock Besser.
That's really going down there. But if you'd like it.
I was just
go with like
out guys that I saw.
I don't know. You can go with like Bjork or something. Bjork's not in the worst spot.
Verbata.
Yeah, no, the McDavid Letestu one you mentioned sounds really interesting. So.
Yeah, so McGee's. Wait, is Letestu a center though?
No, he's a winger.
Oh, so if you went McGee's, you could go with Timo Meyer. You could go with Letestu. You could get crazy and go with someone else. I don't know.
Letestu.
Or you could play Sagan with Letestu and get some McDavid exposure, and then you get Tyler Sagan, who we think is the better cash play, right, Doug?
Yes.
So
right.
fine. Or you can go Luke Kunin. He's still available.
That's money.
You could go Yanni Gord too. Yanni Gord getting power play in minutes. Sagan Gord. All right, cool. Well, I think we sum that up. Let's guarantee some goals. Luke.
Goals.
He shoots, he scores. Matt, I can already kind of guess one of yours, but I'll let you go first because I feel like you're kind of ready.
Well, I don't really want to guarantee a defenseman scoring a goal.
Oh, okay.
I want to go with Barkov though. I think Barkov is a really, really nice position, even though he's going against Anaheim, who I like. Like, I don't think Anaheim's great defensively. I just think they're a really good team, percentages wise, and that they play a high event game that lends itself to DFS success. So, I like Barkov just fine. So let's roll him.
Okay, Barkov's cool for your upper echelon character guy. Doug, do you have guys ready to go?
Yeah, I'll take Sagan Besser.
Okay, Sagan Besser. Those are two guys that play hockey in the
But
NHL.
I was very much debating Malkin Keller, so let the record show.
All right.
Okay, hold on, I'm almost there. Oh boy, this is not easy.
All right, let me lock in Hoffman with my other.
Hoffman. Yeah, I know. I almost did Hoffman too. Hold on. Am I doing?
If he scores when you pick him, I'm gonna be pissed.
He listens to the podcast, waits until
he was like the highest projected floor play like 3 nights in a row, and he didn't score.
Oh man, I was thinking Buchnevich and someone, and like, I mean, I could go like. This is tough. I was kind of thinking like Pasternak or Raquel. Which one?
Yo, Ricky Rax.
All right, I'll go Raquel and Buchnevich. I'm down for that. I think Buchnevich is in a really nice spot. You guys mentioned him a lot, and I really do like it as long as he does kind of stick to where he is. Okay, wrap it up.
That is strong. Yes. So to wrap this show up, thank you for sticking around. If you made it this far. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at MorningscapePod. Check out the website, morningscapepod.com. There will be projections posted there daily throughout the season, so keep checking back. Doug's been gracious enough to actually write about the sim and how to use it. You can check that out in the early season review to kind of see some of the intricacies of how the sim works and in his own words. So definitely check that out, linked on our homepage. And leave us a review on iTunes if you feel so inclined. We'd appreciate all the good vibes we can get. And any feedback you have also, feel free to send our way, be it in a 5-star review or a tweet or any other.
Let me know about Pickle.
I want to sing more, so.
No, tell me if I should say Pickle or not.
Include it in the review so I can sing it. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. So, best of luck, everyone, on this Thursday slate. So, from Doug, from DJ, and from myself, have a good sleep, everybody, and we will see you.